I would say that, I was a detective sergeant. I'd just been newly promoted at the Summit County Sheriff's Office, and I was going through a pretty rough patch in a previous marriage that I was involved in. She had made some accusations about me, and her truth was that, there was a domestic violence incident, and the night before I went to turn myself in, I had drank significantly. And when I went there the next morning, I was given a breathalyzer, and that's kind of how it all ended up. Is I ended up getting terminated from my job for drinking on duty. So I was at the jail. I was terminated that day. My kids were put on a protection order, and I wasn't allowed to go back to the house. So after that, I literally lost everything within like a 24-hour period. And that's kind of the start to that journey. I'd been struggling with drinking during that time, excessively at times, often. And, I had a lot to not drink for. I had a huge support system, and I wanted to see my kids. So that's kind of where that journey started. And, long story short, we ended up here today and made it through it, but
it was a long journey. He's right.
Yeah.
He was right. It was very hard. I would be lying if I didn't say that probably to myself, I felt nervous about where Jared was, how everything kind of hit rock bottom, but he did not stop working hard and pursuing his children back, but we knew where we wanted to end up being, and we just didn't really stop that path until we were there. We just continued on that journey.
Never give up. It's always a bright side to everything, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me, I always looked at what the bright side was. I never looked back and said, I never blamed anything on anyone else. I just, look straight ahead, find a goal, and aim for it. When I talk about exercise, it's more a metaphor for everything to me. I see it as like, that mountain to climb, or that problem to solve, or so many other things that I think about. Taneil might not think about anything sometimes in workouts, and I'm like thinking about everything in life and working through all my problems during those workouts. Afterwards, I just feel great, and I have a clearer mind to approach things. So exercise. I definitely visit a counselor and able to talk to somebody in counseling. And I have a lot of support system in my family with Taneil. I never lost hope. There was always something that I wanted. I wanted to see my kids. So that goal was, I never lost hope in that. I was always very optimistic in my outlook at things. So to say there wasn't hard times, that I would be lying, but I never lost hope in something. I think the best piece of advice I could give them, they're not alone, and tell someone honestly what your story is. I think when you're honest with people about the problems that you face in life, it makes people feel more willing to accept their own problems. And then if you don't accept your problems, you can't address them. So that would be my advice. Accept that you have those problems and do your best to figure them out. I would say there's still a lot of stigma, and it might not even be the stigma of society, but in our own minds, right? Because we think being vulnerable is a weakness. But when you see somebody else do it, you're like, God, they're so strong. But in your own self, you have to find that strength to say, it is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to have these things. And then you start meeting a lot of people that are more open, and man, the positivity that flows from that is amazing,
It's interesting in that the opportunity to affiliate with Fit to Recover came during COVID, because people began to struggle during that time, right? And so people who were having substance misuse disorder or issues during that time, it really started to show up in their lives because of COVID.
We had been wanting to figure out a way to reach out to the community and offer something, because we knew that fitness for us was such an outlet. We were lucky enough to be able to bring Fit to Recover here and give some people other resources and outlets that were positive, and fitness is one that we're super passionate about. So we start with community. So we talk about how we're feeling. Typically in CrossFit, we're right to the workout. We talk about how we're feeling in the Fit to Recover. We brought that to CrossFit because we loved it. Talk about what we're feeling, and then we do our empowerment portion where we actually do the workout And that empowers people to say, yeah, I can actually do this. And then, you know, at the end, we have our accountability, and we go around and we say something that we're grateful for. And I think it's just, it promotes so much activity, where sometimes people see that and they're afraid and intimidated to come in. And Fit to Recover encourages people to come in.
It's free.
Yeah.
It's free to the community. All abilities, no experience necessary. So anybody can come for free.
Thank you for the
Yeah, thank
opportunity.
you.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, thank you.